The question I want to ask and try to answer today is, who is the target audience of a scientific paper? And it seems to me this question cannot be separated from the question of what is the purpose of the scientific literature, the collection of scientific papers written to date. And it seems to me that the main purpose, or one of the main purposes, is as a forum for continued conversation between experts. So, in this sense, then we might expect that the proper audience for a scientific paper, you as an expert writing, are writing for other experts. So, the other experts is your target audience. And we see this. Many scientific papers are written explicitly in this way. They're full of jargon that only an expert in the field would understand. And they're meant to be part of an ongoing conversation that is going to, inch by inch, move our knowledge forward. However, the public has a different idea of what scientific literature is, because we intend to use the scientific literature as a source of knowledge from which to build public policy. And this could be on any number of really important social and societal issues. So if part of the purpose of the scientific literature is to generate knowledge for use by the public, is the general public also meant to be part of the audience? I would say no, because of course, most of the general public does not have the means to be able to understand what's being said in detail and to bring the conversation of every paper to that level that is digestible by the public is simply unfeasible. These papers need to be relatively short. However, I would say that as a writer of a scientific paper, you might aim a little bit broader than merely experts. You could aim also for the educated public. We live now in a society where more people have university degrees than probably ever before. And so there are many people who are capable of understanding detailed concepts. Now, they won't get the finest details of a paper, but I think it is a good goal as a scientific researcher when writing your papers that the educated public, so let's say people with advanced degrees, in the same general category as your work. So if you're writing in one of the natural sciences, that someone else with a natural science PhD or an engineering PhD should be able to get the gist of what you have written. And by the gist, I mean they should be able to understand clearly the conclusions and their implications for society at large, if there are any. And in general, what were your methods and why are those methods sufficient to justify the conclusions that you drew? This would go a long way, I think, to helping engage citizens who are educated use the scientific literature to advance suitable public policy and to advocate for it in the political parties that they're part of or in other groups that they're part of. This would be certainly better than a lot of the science journalism we see, which is written by people who don't have any background in science and who have a bad habit of overgeneralizing or jumping to very broad conclusions based on a single study that has shock value that'll get clicks. So that isn't really serving the societal purpose that we would like. And I'll close, I suppose, with just one more audience that I think is the best audience to think of when you're writing a scientific paper. And that is the first year grad student in your field. So they have an undergrad degree, they're brand new to the specifics of the field, and they're reading your paper among many others that their supervisor has assigned to try and get up to speed and understand what's going on in the field. This is more so your real audience than fellow experts. If the fellow experts are the people who have already long since graduated with their PhD and are now professors or researchers in major institutions, they make up a far smaller percentage of the academy than do graduate students. So graduate students are going to be the most common readers of your paper. So you might as well write to them. And by doing so, you will also make it wide enough that perhaps the educated public at large, will also be able to follow. And so I'll leave it at that. That's my view on what the scientific literature is for, and when you're writing a paper, what target audience you should have in mind. Thanks for watching.